the depths of my soul, feeling the loss of control in the spirit, so colorful. If you feel it, then let's go to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Rise, rise, keep on rising, rise,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Toon review for tonight's match review of Everton 3, Newcastle United 0. We're joined by, of course, Billy, Bob Coleman, and our regular Friday night co-host, the King of Qatar, Mr. Roy Kaviani, who was broadcasting from the Palace of Qatar. Jimmy can't be with us tonight because he's got the flu, so get well soon, matey, and we hope to have you back next week. Usual rules for the chat for the show, guys. If you do enjoy it, please do give it the thumbs up. Very important we keep those coming in on the channel. And of course, if you're new and you like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. And of course, hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any videos, such as the one I did earlier on today. You can become a member of the Toon Review by hitting the join button just underneath the three of us. And of course, you can donate to the channel if you do so wish by hitting that $sign under the live chat. That will get you through and also your comment read out straight away. So thank you in advance for that. There is also a poll up already in the live chat. And it's basically asking who you thought was player of the match for Newcastle last night. You have four options. It was hard to choose them. But the four options that are on there are Jamal Lascelles, Tino Livramento, Lewis Miley, and Bruno. So those are the four players that are on for player of the match for Newcastle on the poll. So please feel free and go and vote on there, and we'll check up with that later on in the show. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Have we recovered from last night? Very bitter pill to swallow. Billy, we'll start with you. Obviously, you did the commentary with myself, and it just wasn't great, was it?
No, it was concerning. Not unexpected, but certainly unacceptable. There are kind of things he can do to kind of stop this happening. He can rotate the squad, and he hasn't done. I know he's short of numbers, but there are one or two players in there he could change.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's disappointing all the way around, really. And our way form is what's going to stop us getting Champions League football in next year's season. I think if this keeps carrying on, we're trying to find an answer to how we played so many games in such a short period of time. And when we need to have a plan B, we need to have one. At the minute, we haven't.
Yeah, I mean, Roy, obviously, you saw the game, and it was very disappointing. Not just the way we played, we couldn't get going in the first half, but the strange thing is we did have a couple of decent opportunities in that first half. Isak's header, of course, and Miggy, I've seen that back time after time today. Just bend it round the keeper into the far corner and he fluffs it up, but it just wasn't our night.
Nah, don't get me started with Miggy, but I mean, he's been great in the last few games, and I praised him, and people were like, "Oh, Roy's praising him," and he was back to his shite yesterday again. I mean, he's a workhorse, and he gives 110%, but that's not enough, really. If you can't finish, he's at the end. He's a winger. You need to score. You need to set balls up. He doesn't score. He doesn't assist. He works hard, and we love him for this, and his smile. But I mean, that was fucking any just smack the ball, man.
Yeah.
Basket.
I mean, as usual, last night on social media, especially, there's just an outcry of sheer panic. Obviously, you get the usual saying Eddie Howe out. He's took us as far as he can go. All this kind of garbage. But the one thing that got me, and Call Me Swift has just put it up in the chat there, was a young lass of 23 years old tweeting, Trippier, fuck off back to Madrid. You're a useless. See you next Tuesday. I am staggered, absolutely staggered, that some idiot can go on there and type that kind of crap on social media. Trippier has made 2 terrible errors yesterday, absolutely. But the one man that will know it more than anybody else is Kieran bloody Trippier himself. Now, Kieran Trippier was the first signing to come into this new regime at Newcastle United, and he has been nothing short of sensational. Absolutely sensational. And you know what it is? It's not just on the pitch either. It's off the pitch. You know, how many times have we seen new signings come into the club, and who is the first player involved to welcome that new player to the club? It's Kieran Trippier. His leadership is second to none. His experience is second to none. And he's made 2 mistakes yesterday. And you know what? They were terrible mistakes. There's no glossing over that. They led to goals. And that is, totally out of character for Kieran Trippier. He does not make those kind of mistakes every week. He is sensational. But again, Billy, the targeting of certain individual players. Now, people will come back to me and say, "Oh, yeah, but you're slagging off Isak. I'm not slagging Isak off. I'm basically talking about what I've just seen on the pitch, rating him as a performance, not as an individual, not anything else. I'm rating his performance on the pitch, right? But to come out with that kind of stuff to Kieran Trippier, Billy, is an absolute disgrace.
Yes, it is, undoubtedly. When it comes to Kieran Trippier, mental fatigue is the obvious answer to it all. Physical fatigue, you get by, but mental fatigue, when you get yourself up for 1 or 2 games, and in this case, 3 games, there inevitably has to be a down. And it's certainly a mental fatigue issue, because to do it once, you can kind of sweep it to the carpet, but to do the same thing twice in the same game is brain scrambled. It must be, because the lad is a world-class right back. He's a world-class footballer. He's the ultimate professional. He offers everything that we want in a footballer. So for me, it's an obvious mental fatigue issue. You can't keep going to that same well with the same bucket for the same water. You can't. He's got to be rested. He's 33 years of age. The physical side of it does come into it slightly, but more so the mental fatigue. He's an experienced footballer. The most experienced footballer we have in our squad. He's played European final, Championship finals, played World Cup semi-finals. To do that twice in one game it's unexplainable, and the only explanation for it is mental fatigue. And to call him out is ridiculous, really, because, like you've said, he offers everything as a professional footballer, off the pitch and on the pitch. He's been a leader. He's been a goal scorer. He's pushed the team forward. He's took us from the brink of relegation under his kind of leadership on the pitch to European Champions League. So, I would take no notice of someone that writes something like that. They're obviously not a proper Newcastle United supporter. And that's that. And that's something we're going to have to get used to with the success we're having. Kieran Trippier,
some people were saying in the chat, it's obviously a Markham troll. It wasn't. It's a Newcastle United young supporter. If you look on her profile, you will see it's all Newcastle United. There's not any Sunderland on there. But wow, I mean, maybe she'd had a drink. I don't know. But even with a drink, you just don't come out with crap like that. But the thing is, Roy, Trippier needs a rest. It's clear as day. But the problem we've got is you look at Sunday's game against Tottenham, you think, right, he needs to rest Kieran Trippier. So the obvious thing to do would be to move Livramento to right back and to play Lewis Hall at left back. But for some reason, the last 4 games, Lewis Hall hasn't seen any minutes. He hasn't come on as substitute. There must be a problem there. The question has to be asked: why is he not getting minutes? Because when you're seeing Matt Ritchie come on ahead of you, then something's not right.
Yeah, it's weird. Why did we buy him then? Or he's
Well,
on loan, but is option to buy, or is it to go through the financial fair play? If he hasn't played in the last 4 games, that means he's not good enough, and or he doesn't trust him. But
well,
we haven't got. There's no man.
this obligation to buy, Roy, is on the it basically is based on certain performance related issues as well. So a lot of people have been saying today, and rightly so in a way, that maybe Eddie Howe just has seen him in training. He doesn't fancy him. He's yanked him off twice at half time in the 2 games that he started.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't fancy him, and he doesn't want us to meet those obligations to have to buy him. Maybe he's seen enough already.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's the reason. Well, I've seen him. He played one time. He started as a left winger as well. Maybe he's not good enough. I mean, he's going to have to play him because he's got 2 options: go for it against Spurs and risk having your players completely knackered for Milan, which I think is more important than the Spurs game, because you can't guarantee winning the Spurs game even with your full team, or rest the players, lose that Spurs game, and have a fit team for Milan. So that's his dilemma now.
Billy, sorry, go on, Roy.
For me, I'll just drop the Milan. I'll drop the Spurs game. I'll rest about 5 or 6 players and have a fight. Keep some of the players on the bench and put them on if you need them in the second half, and keep as much fit players for the Milan game.
I mean,
Otherwise,
Billy,
we're gonna lose both.
Yeah, we are. Billy, you spoke about it on the commentary last night about the situation with what we do on Sunday. Which is more important? Yes, I guess they're both important. Of course they are. But when you look at the table at the minute, it's very close in the league. So it wouldn't be the be-all and end-all if we lost to Tottenham on Sunday. Staying in Europe is very important, I think, for Newcastle United. But I'm getting the feeling that maybe it's not going to be as important because of the squad that we've got at the minute. Now, yes, we can improve that in January. We can sign players who, of course, can then play in the whatever cup competition we're in. But where do you think Eddie Howe lies today after sort of, waking up this morning and thinking, right, what do I do with this? What is the situation we are in here? Because he's getting a lot of hammer today as well because of his lack of, I don't know, whatever you call it, game management or his substitutions, leaving Lewis Hall out on the bench and then we see Richie come on. Where do you think Eddie Howe is thinking ahead of this game, Billy?
Eddie Howe only has one way, and that is to go for every game that we've got. I don't think he understands. Well, he probably does understand it, but he's got little to play with, has he? I mean, the only change you can see really is the Hall for Trippier change. Just Livramento to right back and Hall to left back. But he probably should have done that earlier in this run. He probably should have done it maybe against Manchester United or against Everton, because we're no better off for it. The Everton game, are we? Without Trippier playing, and he could have rested him yesterday. Would have been no better off for it. I know it's kind of hypothetical. But there's no other change you can make, really, is there? Unless he brings in the kids and give them a go. But, it seems kind of...
He's very reluctant. But that surprises me, Billy, and because, we were raving about the kids when we did those watch-alongs for the, the friendlies. We were raving how good the kids played. Young Alex Murphy looked so good. I think he played left-back and centre-back in a couple of games and looked really, really good. We've seen a bit of Parkinson. He puts himself about. I wouldn't say he's had a lot of minutes on the pitch, but he, at least he can do something. We haven't seen much of Diallo, but it's got to come to a point where Eddie has to step back and say, right, these guys are completely knackered. He must know it.
I think Fabian Schär needs a rest. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Fabian Schär needs a rest. He's the same age as Trippier virtually. He's played all these games and more. He's never been rested, in fact. Yeah. So to bring Alex Murphy in for a game, why not? Why not?
Or play Emil Kraft there. I think Kraft can do a decent job.
Or Paul Dummett.
Paul Dummett. Yeah, we do have them to come in. I mean, look, a lot of people saying in the chat that it's probably going to be the same 11 to start again. But the news is Sean Longstaff was quite good today and that he might be available for the game. Now, whether that's on the bench or whether he starts, I don't know. But I think it would be harsh on Lewis Miley to drop him, to be honest, because I think Lewis Miley was one of the standout players for us last night. So it's a difficult decision that he's got because he's also got probably the players also. He'll if he goes to Kieran Trippier, Roy, and he says, right, I want to rest you, Kieran. Save yourself for Milan. Knowing Trippier's attitude to the game, I don't think he would be happy with that.
Yeah, but he's a professional. He's going to have to know that he's 33. He's not a young kid anymore. He needs to be rested for this. Eddie needs to explain this for the long run, not just for one game. And Spurs is not easy. Even when we had a full team, there's no guarantees we're going to win away there. So,
well, Spurs have.
Trippier wants to play against his old club.
Of course he does.
So, in my opinion,
that one as well.
Why wasn't he rested last night?
Well, Jamstasher makes a good point. In the comments, he says the games to rest Trippier have passed. Bournemouth and Everton. I tend to agree with that. 12-man Toon, thank you very much for your $4.99 super chat. He says, notice you've kept your background, Paul. Like the change. Also, of course, it's gutting to lose the way that we did, but we go again proud of the lads. The studio's going through a change tomorrow. I think I'm going to change the way the desk is to go against the bare wall, move the fish tank around, so I've got a whole wall to put Newcastle memorabilia on. Just so I don't have to use a green screen all the time. And obviously, the little gonk is there. That is the gonk that's tripped me over on the stairs, but I love him too much to get rid of him. So he is watching over the show tonight. Now, look, we have there's clearly a dilemma here for Eddie Howe, but I mean, Billy, today after waking up and thinking about the game that you watched last night, did Eddie Howe do a lot wrong last night, or do you think that he was just handcuffed again, or do you think he could have done something different?
I think he changed things back too soon. I thought second half we were starting to create chances when we put Isak out wide left and Gordon through the middle. We started hitting the channels. Gordon had 2 or 3 fantastic chances. He should have taken at least 1 or 2 of those, but he snatched at one. He took 2. He took the wrong choice. He shot too early on the other 2. And we were starting to look like we could break them down quite easily because the pace of Gordon in behind Branthwaite and Tarkowski was starting to bear fruit. But then he changed it back again. Then Isak was put through the channels. Fantastic first touch, but terrible finish. I thought he changed that back a little bit too quickly for us, mate. And he's got to make use of his subs. He has to, because his players,
even if they are kids, even if they are kids, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's just a case of getting fresh legs on the pitch and giving players a rest for half an hour or 20 minutes, whatever. It's bamboozling to me how Roy hasn't done that. He didn't do it against Man United. He didn't do it against PSG. And to bring Matt Ritchie on ahead of kind of Hall or anyone else was to me, it was sacrilege. It was wrong.
No, I don't think he touched the ball, did he? In the time, I know he wasn't on long, but really. 12-man Toon says, I know you aren't a fan of Goldbridge, but he made the same change to his background. Is so much better. Yeah, I know he has. Listen, people have the wrong idea here. I don't not dislike Mark Goldbridge. Okay, I disagree with some of the stuff he says, but I actually like him. I think he's a good character. He's got a good heart as well. He does a lot for charity. So do I agree with him all the time? Absolutely not. Do I call him a bell end from time to time? Absolutely, I do. But I don't. I actually like Mark Goldbridge and like what he does. So hats off to him. But sometimes I completely disagree, and he does annoy me with some of the stuff he says. But it doesn't mean I dislike him. I actually have a lot of praise for him. Respect. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for, Billy. Thank you very much. Shana says, what's up between Howe and Lewis? It makes no sense that he will not play him. Do you think there's been a falling out, Billy?
No, I don't think it's a falling out as such. I'm not sure. Looking at it between the lines, that he's an Eddie Howe signing. This obligatory signing of him is performance related, and if he's not making any performances, then maybe he doesn't want to sign him.
Interesting. I mean, Anthony Gordon's getting some mentions in the comments as well. Obviously, the Everton fans were all over him yesterday. But again, I've seen some ridiculous stuff on social media, Roy, saying, "Oh, he was smiling and things like that during the match when we were losing the game." Look, it's his way of dealing with it. When you get an abuse, the best thing to do is just smile and get on with it. Surely.
Yeah. If anything, it was the opposite. I think he was trying too hard, then just going. Yeah, and I think that's why he did those snapshots really quick, and he was just desperate to score or something. But but saying he was smiling and stuff is ridiculous. He couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yeah. Paul Tully says it really could easily have been 3-3 last night. I'm not so sure, Paul. I know we missed our chances, but Everton could have had 6 if we're perfectly honest. I mean, Calvert-Lewin could have had a hat-trick in the first half, couldn't he? I mean, he had 3 glorious opportunities. I can't believe he missed that one right in front of goal, ballooned it over the bar. That was a hideous error. However, had he been on top form, Calvert-Lewin, he normally would have scored them, let's be fair. And so I think 3-3, it could have been maybe 3-3 at one point, but I think, had all the goals gone in, it was, look, we were beaten well and truly yesterday. And the thing is, Billy, we spoke about this yesterday. I spoke about it in the video earlier. Everton got their tactics right. Let's be fair to Sean Dyche. He targeted our midfield first half. Whether we like the way Everton played or not, they were getting in with niggly little fouls, putting us off our game. They were surrounding our midfield, 2 or 3 players when one of us had the ball. They got the tactics right.
I couldn't agree more. And they were allowed to do so by a referee that seemed reticent to give them any kind of punishment for it. We saw Idris Gana-Gay make 6, yellow card tackles and then get booked for the last one of them. So, yeah, the referee entitled them to do it, but they took advantage of it. And he was, and they were right in doing so. I mean, they followed the Bournemouth playbook, if you like. They out physical us in midfield, stopped us from playing, and then became dangerous, attacking us. But as mistakes aside, they wouldn't have scored, would they, in a minute Sundays? Let's be honest.
No, I mean, look, like I said, they had the chances, they didn't bury them, and it took 2 mistakes to. I mean, yes, you could say that they took the goals very well when they did have the opportunity after the mistakes, but we were punished. We got nobody else to blame but ourselves. At the end of the day, we weren't. The first half was dreadful. We just weren't at the races in the first half. We couldn't get going, and Everton. If any team was going to score in that first half, it should have been Everton. I know we had a chance with Miggy and it was Isak's header just wide of the post. But come on, we have to be fair in times. I know we don't like Everton, but they were the better team last night and they deserve to win. And we're not sitting here hiding that fact. We, from a Newcastle United point of view, have to look at what went wrong. Now, Simon mentions that the Scouts were being awful to Gordon, horrible things being shouted, but I do want to pick up on this stupid song that the Newcastle fans were singing last night, Feed the Scousers, right? It's a disgrace. It's absolutely sickening. What is going on in this country is people are struggling in every city, north and south, everywhere, right? I would normally class Newcastle United in the same same kind of city as Liverpool. Working class, very hard working, love the football. Whether you're an Everton or Liverpool fan, doesn't matter. And then we go down there and sing Feed the Scousers when we've got people up here homeless on the streets. You see them all the time when you go into the city. You see them begging. The food banks are running short of food because so many people are relying on food banks now, and people are singing Feed the Scousers. It's a disgusting song. And the Newcastle fans, I don't care who you are, if you were singing that, then shame on you. Because there's people in Newcastle struggling to make ends meet, struggling to put heating on, struggling to buy food. And you sing that about the Scousers? It's wrong. It's really, really wrong. No matter what you think of them, it's wrong in every walk of life. But, who am I to sit here and tell the Newcastle fans what to sing? I just think it was bang out of order. What I do want to pick up on is the away form, guys, because I mentioned this in the video earlier on today, and I took a look at the away form earlier on before I did that video today, just to see, what was going on. And I didn't realize that we have only won once in the Premier League away from home since before Leeds away last season. I've got to. This is the away form here. Now, bear in mind, this is just the Premier League, guys. We're not talking about the Carabao Cup or Champions League, whatever it is. But if you look at that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Premier League games there, Billy, away from home, and we've won 1. Now, you can't blame injuries for all of them.
No, you certainly can't. You certainly can't. At the end of last season, we were fighting for points to get us in Champions League. So, the Leeds-Chelsea game, Chelsea game was all done and dusted. But the Leeds game, there was mistakes made late there. There was a mistake made late against West Ham. Wolves again. We kind of lost leads at all those 3 games. We didn't perform at Manchester City, went to defend, didn't really put up any kind of attacking performance. But Brighton and Bournemouth speak for themselves. They were just appalling and Everton, appalling performances. So, yeah, the away form isn't good. And the only decent result there is one against a side that come up from the Championship. Yeah, there's questions got to be asked. I agree.
I mean, it does make grim reading, Roy, doesn't it? Because, I mentioned in the video today that we need to improve. If we want to be this elite side that everybody is saying that we're going to be, then that Premier League away form has got to improve.
It has to, yeah. I mean,
no matter who we put on the pitch or who's out injured, we if we want to be there, we have to step that up, surely.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you look at it, we're only missing players in the last 2 games. West Ham was almost a full team. Wolves almost full team. So Brighton was shocking as well. So I'm not sure what it is. It was bad. Well, Brighton was very similar to the yesterday one as well, and Bournemouth. So the way we lost is almost similar. We can't create anything. We've got possession, and the final third's non-existent, and then we lose the game, and it's always 2-0 or 3-0. So similar.
Yeah, so for me, it has to be spoken about. It has to be addressed. That's why I did the video on it today, because I thought, wow, I didn't realize it was as poor as that. And the amount of points we're dropping away from home. And I kind of asked the question, Billy, why is it that when we go away from home, we don't play the same way as we do at St. James's Park? And I know we've got the fans, and I know it's a home game, but you look at the elite teams of the world, the Man Cities, the Liverpools, of the Premier League. They can go home and away and play the same football. Why does it change for us? Why is that intensity not there necessarily, when we go away? Because we've seen it takes us sometimes a full half to get going, or we don't get going at all.
Well, for one, we haven't got the crowd behind us. We have a fantastic away support, but it's not the same as 52 or 50,000 home supporters behind us. 2, we're kind of more reticent to attack. We have to have the same work rate, and I think the crowd behind us helps us get that. And 3, it's just a mental block at the minute. I think it's got to that stage now where to go away from home in the league when there's pressure on games to get points, it's stopping us. I mean, because in cup games we look great away from home.
Yeah,
the Champions League games, Dortmund aside, Milan we defended well. Paris Saint-Germain we should have won. Good defensive rear got action in the second half. Manchester United in the cup, we were fantastic with the kids. There's no pressure on those games. So I think there's a lot of reasons why the away form isn't great, but it's concerning. It's very concerning because all the other clubs above us are performing away from home. Even Aston Villa, who they've got the same European games as us. They're playing Thursdays instead of Wednesdays or Tuesdays. They play the same amount of games. They haven't got the Carabao Cup to contend with, but they're still playing lots of games. They seem to have a more deeper squad than we have as well, which is concerning also.
Yeah. A lot of people talking about Pickford's actions last night. I'm not even going to talk about it. The only thing that I will say on the Pickford situation is, we give it, we have to take it sometimes. Pickford, to be fair to Pickford, he's took a lot of abuse from the Newcastle fans over the years. He got us back last night. End of story. You give it, you take it back. Simple as that. So let's not get too into Jordan Pickford's actions. Look, at the end of the day, whatever you think of Jordan Pickford, he got one over us last night. But our time will come again, I'm sure, in April when they come to St. James's Park and we stomp them. He'll get it in the neck again. So you've got to be able to give it and take it, guys. It was his night last night, unfortunately, not ours. Looney Tunes says the referee was awful, totally lost control of the game. Call Me Swift says, the squad is knackered, though, even when Miggy can't run anymore. Looney Tunes says, Paul, you call them bin dippers. Yes, bin dippers in banter. That's what they're known as. Bin dippers. They've got nicknames for us as well. It's not the same as Feed the Scousers. I'm trying to make a point. Oh, dear. Never mind. Julie J says, someone made a good point about the lack of derbies, which is why we hate Everton and Pickford so much. Very true. Very true. Apparently I'm being hypocritical by calling them bin dippers. Give over, man. It's a completely different context. Alex's match preview seemed accurate. Lots of fouls from Everton, but hardly any yellows. that was the thing, right? Very, very reluctant to bring his yellow card out. And I mean, who was it? Garner, Billy, that made about 7 or 8 fouls before he was actually booked.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you make of that, Roy?
He could have been sent off him. I was about to mention him. He got away with loads of fouls. He could have been sent off if the referee was a bit more strict. But I mean, thing is, we should have continued targeting his side anyway, and maybe we could have got him sent off. Yeah, but the referee was a bit soft. It helped them out anyway.
But again, it was all down to tactics. You know, we saw the way they set up, we saw the game plan, and you know what, Billy? I think if Newcastle did that to another team, you know, if Newcastle were in Everton's predicament, and then we went against, say, Everton were up there like we were, and then we played Everton and we played like that, we'd be applauding. You know, we'd be applauding the way we stopped them. I'm turning into bloody Sean Connery. The way we stopped them. You know, the way they got stuck into us, the way they didn't give us any time on the ball in midfield. They targeted the right area and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got a siege mentality about the club anyway with this points deduction. So to get the crowd on side with a few physical tackles, it's the best way of getting the crowd on side with you. And Everton, that's the way they play. They've been dogs of war for 30 years almost now. They haven't played proper football since the 80s. You know, the dogs of war in the 90s team was all about kicking people and out-physicaling people. They're doing it now. They're doing it to their advantage now, and they're getting away with it. Referees allowing them to get away with it. So, yeah, it's the best way of getting the crowd behind you is a few physical tackles early doors. They got away with it last night, and that's the reason why they won the game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Paul Tully says, Man City away, we were inept going forward. That's carried forward in most of our away games. 12-man Toon says, got to look at the opposition too. Wolves have been good. West Ham have been good. Man City world class. Brighton were class before their Europe run. Only questionable is Everton, Bournemouth and Chelsea. I don't agree with Wolves are good. West Ham haven't been good this season. You ask our resident Hammer, he will tell you they have not been good. They had a good result last night, but they haven't been great this season. And look, you're talking about Wolves and West Ham, and with respect, if what I'm saying is we want to be an elite team with the Man Cities and Liverpools, we have to be beating the likes of Wolves and the West Hams. So, and the Brightons, to be fair. So, you know, it's an interesting point, though. Now, I Like Coffee says it's awesome to see Roy back on the TTR panel. Well, he will be a fixture every Friday with us, of course. Now, we may as well, before we go any further, talk about the elephant in the room, which is Alexander Isak. I've seen very, very, very swaying opinions about Isak. Roy, we'll start with you on Isak. He just... Yes, he scored goals, right? Let's not deny that. He's put the ball in the back of the net when he's had an opportunity, but he hasn't looked to me like a £60 million striker because I don't believe he's a striker. My opinion, of course. Where do you stand on Isak?
Yeah, I think he's better on the left as well, but you can't play him on the left when you got Gordon there. So I like what Eddie Howe does. So sometimes in the middle of the game, swap them up and try something else. He had a little run yesterday as well, and then he kicked into the defender, got a corner. But yeah, I think he's a bit wasted when he's up front by himself. But the thing is, if Miggy's crossing the ball to him, you never know. He might be getting some more chances. I mean, he had 2 chances yesterday. One of them, and he flicked it, and he could have just had a shot. So he's not a number 9. He's not a Wilson. That's for sure. So I think in January, a number 9 is a must.
I do. 100%. Billy, what about yourself?
Well, I thought about it last night, actually. I think he is match fit now, but I think he's in the same boat as everyone else. I think he's just knackered for too many minutes, and he's not had a rest. He's not been pulled off in any of these games when we usually only see 60 minutes of him. You know, I think Eddie Howe should have put kids on for the certainly against Paris Saint-Germain, where he was literally a passenger, you know, just watching the ball go past him every 5 seconds. It's as simple as that. He should have been pulled off, and the match fitness is there now because he's played the minutes to get him into his legs, but now he's just simply tired, mentally and physically. So, you know, people saying he doesn't get the service. Well, last night he had service from crosses where he put a header wide. He had service through the channels where he controlled the ball fantastically, but finished poorly. So he did get service last night. He had 2 great chances to score goals and didn't score them. So, yeah, I agree. I think he's You know, number 9. I don't think he's a number 9. I don't think he's a wide left player either. I think he works best as a left of the 2 in a 4-4-2.
Yeah. Some people have said that as well, but we know that's never going to happen in Newcastle because we just don't play 4-4-2 football.
Which asks the question: why do we buy him then? If Eddie Howe didn't want that kind of player in the squad.
I mean, look, again, people have been questioning, why did we bring Lewis Hall in if he's not going to use him? What is the point? It took Livermento a while to get into the team, and look how brilliant he's been. Look, Eddie Howe isn't going to get everything right. We have to say that he's not going to get everything right. He is going to make mistakes. We've said that many times before on the shows that we've done, that he will make mistakes along the line. It's how he learns from those mistakes. But I do have a worry about the substitutions, even when we've got a full-strength team. Sometimes his substitutions, Roy, are very baffling. And I don't see what Matt Ritchie was going to do last night to bring him on. I don't see how he was going to affect the game.
When Matt Ritchie came on yesterday, I was like, that's it, game over, done. He's not going to add anything to that team yesterday. He's got no legs. His legs were gone 2 years ago. I think he's there just for the mentality and keep the dressing room up, like a role model or something. Again, Lewis Hall, not used. None of the kids. Some of those kids might be hungry with pace and power, and just put them on, man. Just put them on. So Richie comes on. Lewis Hall's not coming on. Remember the Liverpool game as well. Yeah. Everything was going fine. He was the best man on the pitch that day. Tonali took him off, and then I can't remember who was the other one came off. Gordon came off. Those two were the best two in the pitch. Came off. Boom. We lost the game.
Yeah. Look, questions have to, but I say questions have to be asked. Questions are never asked because it's only the same old questions in the press conferences. We don't get any proper answers. I would love one of the reporters just to go in there to Eddie Howe's press conference and say, Eddie, can you just let us know what the situation is with Lewis Hall? We notice he's been on the bench the last 4 games, but you haven't used him. Is there any particular reason why you feel like you can't? And just try and prompt him into an answer. But nobody seems to be doing it. And that's the frustrating thing, because us as fans, we want to know why somebody that we brought in for a specific reason isn't getting any game time. And Matt Ritchie keeps getting wheeled out, time after time and given minutes on the pitch, where we've got a young kid who is very, very capable of playing in the Premier League, isn't getting a chance. And you're taking him off at half time. You're giving him 5 minutes here and there. Sometimes he needs a run of games.
What the killer question is, don't you? You know what the killer question, and it's obvious to me. Are you, as in Eddie Howe, and Dan Ashworth reading from the same hymn sheet?
Well, I guess we'll see in January, Billy, because it's going to be very interesting. Roger says Isak's not 100% fit. Well, if he's not fit, he shouldn't be playing, right? And I said this last night. If Isak isn't fit, he shouldn't be on the pitch. Because why would we play him if he's not 100% fit to risk getting another long-term injury?
Well, he's definitely match fit now. He's definitely match fit. I think
he should be match fit.
I think he's the way now. I think he's overcooked again.
Well, yeah. But the risk of injury, if you're playing him when he's not fully fit, you're risking being out 4 or 5 months. So I don't think they would play him if he wasn't fit. But I agree. He doesn't look fit. He doesn't look strong enough either.
He's never played 90 minutes when he was properly match fit.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's. I don't think he's strong enough. And then Baz Down Under says he's too fragile to be a number 9. I agree. I don't think he's strong enough to be a number 9. He's not that type of player that wants to. You look the way Callum Wilson plays. He likes getting in the centre backs' faces and roughing them up a little bit. Isak doesn't do any of that. But what Isak has is a tremendous technique on the ball, which we saw briefly last night when he moved to the left-hand side and he went on that run that we could have scored from. It's. I mean, look, it's not very easy.
There's 2 types of number 9. You're either a big physical lumbering number 9, or you're a quick nippy one. And Isak's neither, unfortunately. He kind of between Devon and Deep Blue Sea.
I mean, look,
he's 6'3", but he's weak as piss.
Yeah, people used to laugh at Peter Crouch, but Peter Crouch was physical, but he was good on the floor as well. Whatever you made him, he scored some crackers in his time, Peter Crouch. So you can be, I mean, listen, he was 6 stone ring and wet, Peter Crouch, isn't he? So, I don't know. 12 man Toon, thanks for another 199. He says he's questioning your quote, Billy, about Isak should have been pulled off. But I'll see where he's going with that. Spike Milligan, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says Tino should have played on the right, Hall on the left. Isak should have been subbed for Patterson, in my opinion. I think he means Parkinson. I agree. But again, it's this reluctance to play the kids, and it's. I just wish he'd get asked. Not in a nasty way. I just want to know what Eddie's thoughts are on it. You know, not to put him on to get at him or anything. I just want to know what Eddie's thinking is behind it, and what the problem is with Lewis Hall, because you know we should know that. I mean, it's wrong that he's not getting games, in my opinion, because me and Billy saw him last season. We actually, during the commentary against Chelsea last season, noted how good he was, and was delighted when he signed, because we know what he can do. But anyway, we're going to quickly rattle through the player ratings, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to open it up to you guys out there. If you want to come on and join the three of us for a couple of minutes each, just to have a little chat about last night and where you see the club moving forward, I'll put that link up very, very shortly. So even if you haven't got a camera, you can come on with a microphone and just talk to us for a couple of minutes, just to get the thoughts about what you guys think. But we'll rattle through the player ratings first, and then we'll do the last 20 minutes of a bit of a phone in. Right, we'll start off with Dubravka, Roy.
I'll give him a 6.
Okay.
He was okay the first half, couple of saves. He should have done better for the first goal. He was about 2-3 meters in front where he should have been. Otherwise, he could have just grabbed the ball easy. It was right in the middle, on top of him.
Yep.
Third goal as well. Yeah, so I think 6.
Okay, Billy.
Yeah, we had kind of both at kind of ends of the spectrum with him yesterday. I mean, he did catch a couple of balls, but he did drop a couple. He also flapped at 1 or 2, but he also punched 1 or 2 really good. Thought it was at fault for the third goal. He should never be beaten at the near post. I think 6 is a fair score for him. Yeah.
Yep, I'm going 6 as well for exactly the same 2 reasons that you guys have given him. I don't think he was good enough, but you know what it is. It is. Mandy, I'm not sure why Tom's deleted your chat. There's nothing wrong with it. Just don't understand the situation with Hall, but only Eddie knows. And I agree with you, Paul. I think the reporters should ask Eddie why he isn't getting any game time. I think he's just deleted that in error, because I don't see why that comment was deleted. I think Tom's had a bit of a castor with that one. Right, we'll move to Kieran Trippier. Billy.
Before the mistake, he was playing pretty well, I thought. But those 2 mistakes, you know, you can't give many more than a 3.
Yeah. Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him a 4. I love him. But the thing is, I blame him as well for the last one, because the lads went up.
Well, he was looking along the line. I thought it was Kraft at first, but it was Trippier.
It was, yeah. So all the lads went up. I think his head was gone by then. And then the lads went up, and he was just sleeping at the back. So, yeah. 3 as well. 3, make it 3.
Yeah, 3 for me as well. Look, as Billy said, I don't think he was doing particularly badly, but when you make 2, let's just call it 2.5 mistakes, shall we? You know, which lead to goals, then it puts your rating right down. So unfortunately, 3 for me as well. Livramento on the other side, I'm going to give Tino Livramento a 7. I thought he was good again yesterday. I thought he was getting forward. He defended well. And look, it was very hostile towards Newcastle yesterday, not just Anthony Gordon. But I thought he dealt with it very well. So a 7 for me. Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. Probably one of the best players on the pitch yesterday.
Yeah.
Playing off position as well. He's a right back. So, yeah, 7 is good.
Zishan, thank you for your 1999 super chat, buddy. That is very, very kind. He says, Paul, to beat teams like Wolves, West Ham, Brighton away on a regular basis, we need to be an elite team, which we are not yet. I feel expectations are too high. Remember, only in our 2nd full season of the project. That's not a bad comment, actually, Zishan. Billy, Livramento?
Yeah, I think 7's fair. And I mean, none of the problems that were caused by Everton first came down his side, but he defended very well. Perhaps could have got forward more in support of Gordon with only Ashley Young and Seamus Coleman in front of him. But I mean, he did all he could. I thought he was okay. 7's fine, yeah.
Okay. James Welsh, thank you very much for signing up to the Toon Review membership. Welcome to Members Club, and thank you for your support, buddy. You will go into the members' draws, which there will be one tomorrow. Don't forget that. On the preview show, we will have some member giveaways. So be prepared for that. Right, let's go to Jamal Lascelles. Billy.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 too. I mean, all the fear before the game was they were going to score from set pieces. They'd be dangerous. I mean, Jamal Lascelles was a monster in clearing balls with his head. So, yeah, I think 7's fair for him as well. I don't think he was under any kind of pressure physically from Everton. But 7 for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going with a 7, Roy.
Yeah, 7 as well. He stepped up really since Botman's been injured, and I don't think he's done any mistakes yesterday. Yeah, 7 is good.
Fabian Scher, I'm going to give Fabian a 6. I thought his passing was completely off yesterday. The amount of times, especially first half, he went for that diagonal pass and just didn't. Normally, it's on the foot of whoever he's passing it to, but yesterday, very, very short. Intercepted numerous occasions. Yeah, 6 for me. Billy?
5 for me for Scher. Passing, as you say, was under hit lots of the time. I thought he should have done better with the first goal. I thought Lascelles was taken out of the play by Trippy's mistake. I think Scher should have got across quicker and got some sort of challenging, which stopped the ball getting to. So 5 for me for Scher.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
5 as well. A few times he could have just blasted the ball out of the box, and then he decided to pass Livermore, who had a man on him, and then just created more problems. Yeah, just 5.
Okay. Moving into midfield now, Lewis Miley, Roy.
6. I think he had a okay game, not as good as the other ones, but he was out muscled as well. They roughed him up a bit, but he's just going to get better. 6.
Billy?
I'll give him 7. I thought of our midfield, actually, he was our best one of the 3. I thought he kind of didn't lose the ball very often. He helped out defensively when he could. Physically looked pretty strong for a 17-year-old, I thought, of the 3. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'm going with a 7 as well. I thought, and the reason I'm giving a 7 is the way he when he was crowded out yesterday, he didn't panic on the ball. He's just got amazing composure for such a young kid when he's on the ball. So yeah, 7 for me. Let's move on to Joe Linton. Billy.
Yeah, this is the kind of game where he should have really thrived, but he didn't. Very quiet. Was out muscled to a certain extent by Doucouré and Idris Gana Gay. I'll give Joe Linton a 6.
Right?
Yeah, 6 as well. And he's got this bad habit of sometimes keeping the ball in dangerous areas. And then they've took the ball off him a few times yesterday and created some chances. And he loses the ball and comes back with a tackle. Luckily, he's missed the player and the ball yesterday a few times. Yeah, 6. His head is not there as well. So probably knackered.
Okay. I'm giving him a 5. I thought he was poor yesterday, Joe Linton. He didn't do anything for me to get going. But he was, like I say, he was crowded out a lot of the time, didn't stand any chance. Guys, the link to join us for the final part of the show is up now in the pinned comments at the top. Just click on it and it'll bring you through to the green room to come and chat with the 3 of us just for the last 20 minutes of the show. Right, Billy, Bruno.
Certainly not his best day at the office, but he was kind of out muscled and out. They didn't allow him to have the ball in decent areas. So 6 for me for Bruno.
Yeah, I'm good with a 6 as well for the same reason. Roy?
Yeah, 6 as well. Yeah, he could have handled it really yesterday.
Okay.
You could imagine the game he had against Man U and compare to yesterday.
I know. It's just chalk and cheese, isn't it? Really, it's unbelievable. Right, Anthony Gordon. Roy?
I'll give him a 7. He grafted. He ran his ass off yesterday. I know he missed a few easy chances, but he's been booed by the Everton fans the whole game. He's under pressure. He's trying to prove himself. Could have done better with those shots, but I'll give him 7.
Billy?
5 for me. Thought it was poor. Thought with a man with that amount of pace should be able to win past Seamus Coleman and Ashley Young, and didn't. It was the time where we should have stayed wide and ran past them. Didn't do it. 2 or 3 great chances, which he fluffed also. So 5 for me.
I'm going in between them, both of you. I'm going to 6. I thought the effort was there, but the finishing was dreadful. Let's be honest. He had some great chances. So I'm going to 6. Other side, Miggy Almiron. I'm giving Miggy a 3. I thought he was shocking yesterday. Don't get me wrong. People say, "Oh yes, his effort was great. His effort was great." But look, he gave nothing yesterday. He had that chance he fluffed was unbelievable. The amount of goal he had to aim at, yet he hits it straight at Pickford at the near post was disgraceful. So he was just on an off day. 3 for me. Roy.
2, and I'm generous.
Oh.
Did you see him in the second half? Did you actually see him in the second half?
No.
Didn't see him. And this is a player who all he does is run and helps the defenses. He didn't even run. We didn't see him in the second half. Then to do his job, and he missed that ball, and he didn't hit it. He passed it back to the keeper.
Yeah,
Useless.
fair enough. And finally, Isak. Billy.
Miggy, yeah.
All right. Okay. Oh,
No.
God. Go on then.
I'll give him a 4.
Okay.
Very poor. I think that's one that's definitely physically fatigued, and that's kind of why he was so bad. Is the physical fatigue of it all. Should definitely at least put the ball on target for that shot in the first half.
Yeah.
We've seen him do it so many times before, but yesterday, just not an entity in the game, wasn't he?
And finally, Isak. Roy.
5. Not much, and missing those chances and stuff. Movement. He looked better a bit when he went to the left, but 5 max.
Okay. Billy.
I'm gonna give him a 3. Same as Trippier. I thought he was awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm going for a 3 as well. Same exact reasons as Billy. Just awful. Nothing more to be said. Can't rate the substitutes. They weren't on long enough. Eddie Howe, Billy.
I'll give him a 4. When things ain't going right, he changes things too much. And he got to a point yesterday where we did have some kind of momentum in the game with his wide left. Gordon for the middle creating chances. He didn't keep it that way long enough. It was the way we were going to win the game, I think. So at some point, Gordon would have kind of scored, I think, or would have set someone up. But change it back virtually after 5 minutes. Yeah, it's not right. And substitutions also. Yeah, definitely 4.
Yeah, I'm going with a 5. I've explained my feelings on it, during the show. Roy.
4. Not just the match management. It's the lineup as well. And now the dilemma has got in the second game because he's played them again. Subs, Lewis Hall, the whole situation.
Yeah,
can't blame him for getting beat because it could have been 0-0 yesterday's game anyway. Everton was just as bad as us.
Yeah.
But 4.
Okay. Right, we'll turn to the poll before we bring some of yous on. Wanted to know who was your man of the match yesterday. It was for you guys. Lewis Miley won the vote with 43%. Livramento was second on 23%, then Bruno on 20%, and Lascelles on 14%. So interesting results there of the poll, but Lewis Miley was your player of the match yesterday. Thank you very much for taking part in that. Right, let's bring some people on now. It will be quicker than normal tonight, just to get a feeling of how yous are. Just 2 or 3 minutes to explain what you want to get your point across. First one on tonight is Scott. Scott, good evening.
Hello, lads. You all right?
How are you doing?
You all right?
Not too bad. What's your thoughts?
You don't think Eddie should be making subs?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Like the last 20 minutes yesterday, the game was there to take. You know what I mean? And like, either put Lewis Hall on Dummett and Kraft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We could have won that game. Even Parkinson up front.
And the thing is, as well, Scott, we were on top. That second half, we were starting to get on top before the mistake happened and Everton scored.
I mean, Christ. I mean, them two chances that Gordon missed. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, you'd expect him to score.
Oh, no, mate. And then the way Pickford was going on at the end. Christ, no, mate.
Yeah,
you can't blame him, can you? You can't blame him.
We give it to him, he gives it back. I mean, I don't agree with what happened with Joe Linton. I didn't see much of it, to be honest. But listen, we just got to take our medicine, go home, and get on with it. To be honest, what do you think? What do you think he does for Sunday, though, Scott?
God knows, mate. What's the crack with the cells?
Apparently, it's just a dead leg. He should be fit. He just had a dead leg, so they're expecting him to play.
The thing is, Spurs are there for the taking. You see them last night, Spurs.
Well, they've got 9 players missing as well, so their injury record's pretty grim as well.
Nah, mate.
The thing is, Spurs is they're only playing league football, aren't they?
Yeah, Son's a doubt as well, though. He was injured last night, so he might not make it, which I think is a huge boost for us if he doesn't.
You know what I'd like to see happen, right? If it's 20 minutes to go, bring the young kids on.
Yeah.
Give these young kids a go. You know
Why do you think Eddie's not doing that though, Scott? What do you think the reason is behind that?
He's too loyal to the players, Paul, man.
Interesting. Yeah.
He doesn't want to chance it.
The thing is, Scott, as well, if he's not making changes for games like Everton, it makes it worse for the next game, which is just 3 days away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, but Billy, surely Billy Hall's got to get a chance.
I agree with you. I'm on your side 100%, mate. I agree.
Yeah.
Do you mean? Like,
what do you think this? What's your prediction for Sunday, Scott? What's your score prediction?
Blind Faith 2-0 Toon.
2-0 Toon. Well, let's hope it is. Scott, thanks for coming on, matey, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers, buddy.
Thanks, Scott.
So that was Scott. I think that's his first time on the show, so good man. And next one on is 12-man Toon. Paul, good evening.
Good evening, lads.
How are you doing?
I'm buzzing, me, mate.
You buzzing? Buzzing? After last
night?
night?
We're going to kick Tottenham's arse.
Hey, I like the confidence. What do you want to say?
I'm not worried about the result, to be honest.
Okay.
To be honest, it was just a kick in the balls, really, isn't it? You can't stop it. It just happens. Trippier, he let the team down. I think the team played well otherwise. Obviously, we're fluff with chances, but Gordon, I feel like Gordon was too emotional in the game, and he was trying to score no matter what.
Yeah. But Everton did get it right, didn't they, last night? To be fair, they did get the tactics right. The calls to us, they were in our faces. And like I said to Billy earlier on in the show, if we'd have played like that and we're in Everton's situation, we'd be singing our praises today, wouldn't we? Playing like that and putting them off the game.
I certainly. They played us at our own game, like they were pressing us constantly, and I feel like we absolutely crumble when that happens against us, especially away from home against a crowd like Everton's.
Yeah. Are you concerned at the away form, Paul?
I'm not really. But like I said before, if you look at the fixtures, I feel like there probably are fair results for what's happened and the injuries and stuff like that. But obviously, once the players come back, you expect it to get better.
Well, I think we all do, and God, I hope they're back. I mean, it is positive news on the injury front, of course. The news about Callum Wilson and Dan Burn are almost ready to come back. I don't know how Dan Burn's going to expect to get in at left back, but time will tell on that. But I suppose it gives him an option when Dan Burn's back, though, to maybe rest Trippier a bit more, because he can put Livramento there and play Dan Burn left back.
I was literally about to say that. I was saying he's probably going to play Dan Burn over Lewis Hall at this rate. And
what do you make of the Lewis Hall situation, Paul? Because we've been talking about it tonight, and I don't quite understand what's going on there.
Like people are saying, I think that if they meet a certain appearance quota, they'll probably have to buy him outright. Yeah. And Eddie's, I feel like he's still trying to test him. He's trying to figure out if he fits the system or not.
My honest opinion is, and Billy, Roy, I don't know whether you want to say anything here, but my opinion is that he just doesn't fancy him. He's yanked him off twice at half time. Yeah. He's given him very little substitute appearances. And now these last 4 games when we've really needed fresh legs, he ain't put him on, Billy.
Well, I agree. This is why I said the killer question is at the press conferences, are you and Dan Ashworth reading from the same hymn sheet?
Interesting.
It seems clear to me that they aren't, because I think Lewis Hall's a Dan Ashworth signing, and I think he's a good signing. I really do. But for one reason or another, Eddie Howe doesn't rate him that much. Yeah.
Roy, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he's not playing him because he knows maybe he's got 10, 15 games, and if he hits that quota, he's going to have to sign him. and he's probably realised, nah, let him go, and we don't have to spend that 40 million or 50 million.
So, what do you reckon for Sunday, Paul? And what do you think the score's going to be?
I think we'll probably scrape a 2-0, I think. A fun fact is Tottenham in the last 5 games where they've went 1-0 up, they've bottled every single game.
They have. They've been poor. But they are making an excuse of injuries, which, we do that and we get hammered for it. But just before you go, what do you think of the FA Cup draw?
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing for it.
It's
my first right. What's it called? Fucking rivalry in the past few years for me. Derby.
Yeah.
Last time I remember, there was a horse punching incident last time I seen a Derby. Can't lie.
I wasn't standing very far away from that incident. I was just making my way back to the car park, and I've seen it. I thought, sod this, I'm going for another burger. I'll wait before I walk back to the car.
Wasn't a horse burger, was it, by any chance?
It wasn't a horse burger. Well, I think the horse was called Tesco, actually. Yeah. Paul, thanks for coming on, matey. We'll catch you next time, buddy.
Thanks, Thomas. Have a good night.
Cheers, mate. Top man, Paul. We've got 3 more before we end the show. We've got the mighty Wayne, we've got Chippers, and we've got Tom. So we'll get those 3 on before we end the show and see what they have to say. Let me just take that link down now because we've got the 3 that are ready to come on. Next, we've got Chippers. Good evening. Whoa. Yeah. What the hell is that?
Sounds like Doctor Who's on the launch, Sam.
Yeah, we'll try him one more time. Chippers, are you there?
Hello.
Oh no, Chippers. Yeah, I think you could. That sounds like you're in Mars, mate.
He's got OnlyFans on.
Yeah, take your OnlyFans off, mate. Not sure what happened there. Can't be having that in my ear. Tom, good evening.
Evening, you all right?
How are you doing?
Chippers is sounding a bit like a Dalek there, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. It's not very nice when you're wearing headphones and blasting that in your ears, but never mind. What do you want to say tonight, Tom?
Oh, just I think I saw that tweet earlier from that last, and it's just like crazy. I was on the bus earlier this afternoon and listening to a couple of old blokes and kind of agreeing with them at first because they were talking about, well, why isn't Howe playing, giving Hall a chance and what have you, but then they're going, and then one goes through that. I tell you what, Kieran Trippier, he's a bloody liability. Him, and I'm like thinking, what?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has an off day. I mean, there's two howlers, but
Trippier will not make that mistake again this season. I'll guarantee it now. Yeah.
He might if he keeps playing him game after game after game after game after game.
Well, he needs a rest, doesn't he? He needs a rest. So I mean, I didn't know Byrne was so close to coming back, but that if he can't or won't play Hall for any reason, there's your obvious option. You put Byrne back in at left back and put Livramento on the right. Give Trippier a little bit of a break now and again.
Yeah. What's your opinion on the Lewis Hall situation, Tom?
I don't know. I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't know. I do find it baffling, though. I would like like you said earlier, it would be nice just to know, but I don't think, and if Eddie Howe's asked that in the press conference, I don't think he's going to give you an answer like that,
It's difficult, Roy. Difficult, Roy, isn't it? Because we don't know anything that's going on behind the scenes, but that's why I would like them, Roy, to ask in a press conference just a normal question to him.
Yeah, I wish they do, and then at least the fans will just get it out of their head and we'll know what's happening. But no one's asking that question.
Yeah, there are rumours that Manchester United are poised to make a kind of move for Dan Ashworth. Be interesting to see if he goes.
I read about that. Yeah,
because if he does go, it does kind of, to me, it tells us everything we need to know.
I mean, look, we're not saying for 1 second that there's any dodgy stuff going on with our behind the scenes or anything or disagreements. We're just trying to. At the minute, it's all speculation as to what we think because we just don't know. And that's why I would love him to be asked. What do you think he does, Tom, moving forward to Sunday? Because, it's a very quick turnaround and the lads will be down after last night. How does he get them back up for this one?
Oh, how does he get them back up? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I've got every confidence that, he'll do it. Whether it's going to be enough, though, just with the quick turnaround and what have you, and the fatigue of playing game after game. I don't know if it'll be enough, but I'm sure lift it mentally. Quite how I don't know. But then, you know, I'm not manager of Newcastle United, so.
Would you? I mean, some people have mentioned just playing a lot of the kids on Sunday and just having a good rest before we go into the big game against Milan. Would you do that?
I'd certainly give Trippier a rest. Maybe give Cher a rest as well, because Cher's looking a bit knackered. You know, we talked about Alex Murphy and what a talent he is, and he looked it in the summer when, you know, we saw him playing those games out in the States. Why not give him a go? You know.
Yeah. So, what do you think the score is going to be, Tom? What's your prediction, mate?
It's going to be difficult because they're in a bad situation as well.
They are, yeah,
with their injuries and what have you. I don't know. I hate to be negative. But I'm.
Don't do it then. Don't do it.
But well, I'm honestly in me head. I'm thinking we're all going to get beat. Sorry, but that's what I'm thinking in my head.
Wow.
1-0, I think. I don't think it'll be much, but 1-0, I think we'll get
1-0 to Spurs, eh?
Well,
we'll see if you're right, Tom.
I'm wrong.
I hope you are. I really hope you are. But we will have a face the lads next Friday night, so we'll see if you're right. We'll speak to you soon, bud.
See you later.
Cheers, Tom.
Good night.
Yeah.
So that was Tom. Julie J says Danouth was already turned down once. Yeah, he did. Susan says she's not feeling very well tonight, so can't come on. Get well soon, Susan. Hopefully the lads will win on Sunday and make you feel a little bit better. She also says 2-1 to Newcastle on Sunday. Foxy says football fans are fickle. Trip your hero to 0 within a week. Correct. Well, he's still a hero with me. He's certainly not 0 with me. He's still a hero. You just can't overlook what this guy's done for the football club since he's come in. His commitment to the cause has been incredible. And look, when he decided to sign us, took a pay cut and came to Newcastle United when we were near the bottom of the league, staring relegation in the face. We then lose to Cambridge in the FA Cup at home. You know, it weren't great. Let's put it that way. But, you know, come on. He will never make those mistakes. Notorious, I'm not even going to read that comment out. I think that's a disgusting thing to say, but never mind. Right, let's bring on our final guest of the evening, the Mighty Win. Good evening.
Good evening, boys. How are you doing?
The Mighty Win.
We could actually be a little bit better, but it wasn't great last night.
Well, it wasn't great last night, you're right. But I think we should all just sit back, take it easy. I thought, for example, your merit marks were completely OTT. You know,
why?
It wasn't a good performance. We can all agree on that.
We've just lost 3-0 to a team in the bottom three. All that they are there by
right. Yeah, it's good job he's doing it. The 10th, if they got their 10 points put back on, the 10th above Chelsea. Correct. So they're not a bad team, and they've improved exponentially since Daesh went there. You know, they're organised now. They know what they're doing. They all know what their jobs are.
Yeah, but we lost 3-0. Though we were not going to score well when we lose 3-0.
We lost 3-0 because, as per Bournemouth, we were dead on our feet. It was you know, plain to see. And the big question, which I agree with, is the question that should be asked, is Eddie's lack of use of substitutions. Well, Eddie's philosophy is you try to win every single game. And he obviously believes, and I've still got every faith in him, and I'll have every faith in him, supposing we'll get beat at Tottenham, suppose we'll get beat at Milan, and suppose Fulham beat at home. There are reasons for it happening. And we all know what the reasons are. He won't use them as an excuse, but we as fans are entitled to use them as an excuse. We've got a first team. We could pick 11 players who are currently injured who would finish top 6 without any of the players we've got on the field at the minute.
Why is he not playing Lewis Hall?
Well, I don't know, but neither does anybody else. And for to make the assumption that it's because he doesn't fancy him, I think is wrong. It could be that he's just not up to, and he doesn't think he's up to speed yet. It could be that having tried him on a couple of times, it's when maybe he's thought he wasn't up to speed. He's proven that to be the case, and that's why he's been taken off. You know, we all know he had a good game against Man U away and scored the wonder goal. I don't know, but neither does anybody else. And I think the thought of some of the journalists asking him straight out in a press con, what would be the question?
Well, just
are you
like
going to literally turn around and say, "Do you not fancy Lewis Hall?"
No, that's not what I said. What I said was, if they sat in front of it, if the journalist just asks him, basically, you've got Lewis Hall sitting on the bench. Is there any reason that he's not getting you're not bringing him on? You know, you're looking for fresh legs on the pitch. You've got one there sitting on the bench, but you're not using him, and you're bringing Matt Ritchie on. That to me doesn't make sense. But all I'm saying is the journalist should maybe say, you know, you've got Lewis Hall sitting there. Is there any particular reason that you haven't brought him on?
And Eddie Howe will reply with, "I thought I used the best options from the group to change the result, to get a result, or whatever." He will not address a question related to an individual player. I'm sure he's so adept at sidestepping questions. I mean, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
He
is.
Could and probably should be asked. But, you know, the journalists are wide enough to know that if they're asking, he'll just sidestep it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is any mail, because does anybody actually know what the conditions are on the contract, on the loan contract? Because I don't, and I've never seen them printed anywhere.
All it says is all it's been reported as saying it's an obligation to buy, providing he meets certain criteria.
I'm not sure that's even true.
Performance criteria.
Certain performance criteria, exactly. Nobody seems to know what they are. So, is it if he plays X games? I don't know. And do we know whether Eddie fancies him or not? He's certainly, whilst he's at the club, Eddie is not going to turn around and say, "No, I don't fancy him, so I'm not going to play him in the required number of games so that we can upload him in the summer." I just don't see that happening at all.
Yeah.
But you referred to the elephant in the room before, and the elephant in the room for me is a big, huge elephant, and that's Isaac. He has been anonymous even though he scored a couple of goals, he's been largely anonymous in the last half dozen games.
Yeah.
And it just shows how much we miss Callum.
Where do you think Isak's best position is? Because I don't think he's an out-and-out striker.
Well, in my old-fashioned terminology, he's an inside forward. He's a number 10.
Yeah.
But sorry.
No, go on.
Go on, dog.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, when he hit the wing, he hit the left wing and had that run up last night. I thought, "Oh, here we go again," you know. But it fizzled out. Like I say, it was a bad day at the office, and let's just keep our heads and not start pointing fingers. All the lunatics who were pointing fingers at Trippier, they should just support somebody else. He's been the best signing in my 60-odd years of supporting the Town. The best pound-for-pound signing ever.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you think for Sunday then? What do you think? Where does he go on Sunday?
Hope for the best, expect the worst. No, I'm going to do it the other way around. I'll expect the worst, hope for the best. I'm hoping. Let's have Spurs go first again, extend their record, and then we'll beat them 2-1. How about that?
I like it. That's a good way to end. Spot on. Thank you for coming on the Mighty Win. We'll catch up with you again next time.
Okay, mate. Thanks for having us.
Good night. Good night. No problem. Good night. He speaks a lot of sense. He does speak a lot of sense, does the Mighty Win. We'll have to try and find out what his actual name is. He can't be, maybe it is Win. Who knows? I guess we'll find out in time. But there you go, guys. That's the the review show done and dusted. Me and Billy will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for the preview show. Quick turnaround. And of course, we'll be back on Sunday as well. I think it's a 4:30 kickoff on Sunday against Tottenham. So me and Billy will be live on air from 4 o'clock with team news and build-up, of course, followed by commentary of the game. So 7 o'clock tomorrow night for the preview show with me and Billy, and then Sunday 4 p.m. for the watch-along. So busy weekend for the Toon review. Roy, before you go, what is your prediction for Sunday?
I'm hoping he puts the kids on.
Right.
I'm not bothered if we lose because for me, Milan is more important. So, but I've got a sneaky feeling it's going to be 1-1, even though he's going to rest 3 or 4 players.
Hey, if he rests 3 or 4 players and we still come out of there with a draw, I think it's a successful result.
I've got a feeling he's going to do it.
Absolutely. But there you go, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in on a Friday night. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for your new memberships and your super chats. Thank you to the mods and to Billy and Roy, of course. But the main thanks to you again for joining us. Thank you for all your support. We really appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow, me and Billy, 7 p.m. And don't forget, if you remember, you've got a chance of winning some great prizes tomorrow night. So don't miss the show. But until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your Friday evening, folks. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Go away, the lads and lasses.
Come back and check on to breathe.